Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames, messieurs, thank you, first of all, Peter, for that very kind introduction. When I came to Ottawa 20 years ago to join the court, my friends and family in Vancouver said, well, you're going to be very lonely. I quickly discovered that it wasn't possible to be lonely with the National Arts Centre and all the wonderful people that I met through the Arts Centre. Il me fait grand plaisir ce matin de donner le coup d'envoi à la conférence 150 au Canada. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here to do the kickoff for this great meeting, which I am sure is going to produce wonderful ideas and plans that will come to fruition in the next 7 years that will make Canada 150 O Canada Conference unforgettable. My task today is to offer some thoughts on Canada's history as a nation of immigration and the diversity, the multiculturalism, to use another term, of the peoples who are Canada. My thesis is that while this diversity presents challenges, it is perhaps the defining characteristic of our country and of the just society to which we aspire. As such, it should take a central place in our 150th anniversary celebrations in 2017. Now, Canada is a unique country. It's founded not on ethnic nationalism, as are so many countries, but on inclusion. John Ralston Saul, in his most recent book, A Fair Country, eloquently described Canada's cultural history as emerging from 3 strands: Aboriginal, French, and English, overlain in successive decades by wave after wave of immigration from every part of the world. Most Canadians, count immigrants among their ancestors. We are, to use Saul's phrase, a métis nation. We're a diverse people, yet as we prove at critical moments like the final game in the Canada-US hockey series at the Vancouver Olympics, a unified nation. Unity in diversity, that's our character, our vulnerability, our strength. L'unité dans la diversité, la raison notre génie, notre sensibilité, notre force. Canada has become much more inclusive since my ancestors came to Canada. It wasn't always this way. For its first 100 years, Canada immigration policy was highly selective in favor of West and sometimes Central Europe. All that has changed. Beginning in the 1960s, culminating in the new Immigration Act of 1976, Canada gradually eliminated race as a factor in immigration and focused instead on individual qualifications such as education and employment, while also providing for family reunification and humanitarian claims. The impact of these changes was enormous. In 1966, 87% of Canada's immigrants were of European origin. By 1970, 50% came from other areas, non-European areas of the world. And the trend has continued. Today, about 80% of immigrants come from Asia, Caribbean, Central and South America, Africa. Only 20% come from Europe. We now accept more immigrants than any other nation of the world. These changes have resulted in a much more diverse Canadian community, creating both opportunities and challenge. They have marked our country and make it what it is today. Yesterday, Statistics Canada reported that by 2031, 1 in 3 Canadians will belong to a visible minority, and that in our 2 largest cities, the visible minority will in fact be a majority, 63% in Toronto and 60% in Vancouver. Canada, the Globe and Mail trumpeted, will be transformed into a truly global nation. There are many things we should be celebrating in 2017. Foremost among them is just this, Canada's character as a truly global nation. Canadian citizenship is a wonderful gift, both for those who've been here for generations and newcomers, but it comes with responsibilities. I just want to briefly mention two. Our first is our responsibility to support our laws and institutions of governance, to get to know our country's history and culture, and to adopt it as our own, integral to our every action. That applies to those families who've been here for generations as much as to newcomers. We must realize, each and every one of us, that Canada is not merely a place to live. It's a place where we can participate fully in society. And that to do that, we have to understand and become part of our history and culture. The second responsibility diversity imposes on us is to accommodate difference and foster an open community. This isn't always easy, but it's vitally important. And by world standards, we do it very well. Our freedom of speech means we must respect the freedom of speech of others. Our freedom of religion means we must respect the freedom of religion of others, and so on. If we want to live together in peace and harmony as a truly global nation, we have to find ways to accommodate each other. We have, and we are continuing to do so, and that is something to celebrate. When we live this way, this path of respect, accommodation, what do we get? We get a just society. In his recent book, The Idea of Justice, Nobel Prize-winning philosopher Amartya Sen argues that a just society must possess not only laws and institutions, but produce actual justice in the lives of citizens. I like to think that that's what Pierre Elliott Trudeau had in mind in the 1970s when he described the Canadian dream in terms of the just society, and then went on in the 80s to make it concrete through our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The dream, the image of the just society, I believe still resonates, and the Charter still sways. This then is my suggestion for 2017, the celebration of diversity, but not merely diversity, the celebration of diversity as a means to achieve and as an expression of the just society. We, all of us, in all our diversity, must face the challenge of imagining new ways to improve our country and make our communities more just, and having imagined them, roll up our sleeves and make them a reality. I challenge you, in thinking about how to mark Canada's 150th anniversary, to consider projects and actions that celebrate our diversity and the related dream of a truly just society. Que 2017 soit une année qui permette aux Canadiens et Canadiennes de réfléchir à ce que devrait être le Canada du 21e siècle. A year to reflect on a Canada which is a model of the modern nation, a truly global nation that uses the talents and richness of all its citizens to forge a unified and just society, both at home and as a citizen of the world community. Thank you, and I want you to know that I've finished with 1 minute and 18 seconds to go.